You won't believe it, but the reality of modern relationships has surpassed even the boldest satirical scripts. Recently, the internet blew up over a woman claiming she needs a man earning at least $500,000 a year just to cover her basic maintenance costs of $20,000 a month. Another one seriously argues that splitting the bill at a restaurant is a form of financial abuse. There are entire courses teaching how to get a man to pay your rent without even entering a romantic relationship with him. Expectations have reached such an absurd peak that even successful, wealthy men are turning around and walking away, saying, "This is impossible." Let's break down exactly what women expect from men today and why millions of guys are choosing solitude over participating in this rigged game. The deal called marriage has turned into a guaranteed loss for many men. You sign up thinking you're building a life together, but in reality, you're signing a contract where your partner gets half of everything you've created, plus monthly payments, plus the kids, plus the house if things go wrong. And statistics are relentless. Things go wrong more than half the time. Even if you were loyal, even if she initiated the split, you're the one writing checks for the next 20 years. I know stories of men who lost everything despite impeccable behavior in marriage. One of them lived with his wife for 15 years, worked himself to the bone to provide for the family, and ruined his health. His wife had an affair with her personal trainer. Yes, it sounds like a cliche from a cheap movie, but this was his life. The result? He lost the house, pays huge alimony, and sees his kids every 2 weeks. The modern system doesn't care who is at fault. It only cares about the transfer of resources from men to women. That is why more and more men are avoiding legal marriage. They are ready for commitment, ready to live together, even to have beautiful ceremonies, but they won't sign the government contract. They watch their fathers, brothers, and friends get crushed by a system that treats marriage like a wealth redistribution program. Smart men are protecting themselves, and this causes fury among a certain demographic. The ability to be happy alone has become the ultimate test of self-respect. If you can't stand your own company, if you constantly need external validation of your worth, if you need someone else to feel whole, you aren't ready for a relationship. You are looking for a free therapist. Men are starting to realize peaceful solitude is always better than chaos for two. The sense of entitlement in modern dating has reached parody levels. Some women genuinely believe men should reimburse them for the costs of getting ready for a date. Hair, nails, makeup, outfit, they want this invoice paid before they even appear at the door. There was a case where a girl sent a $500 Venmo request before a first date. The man refused, and she posted it online, positioning herself as the victim. It feels like dating has turned into financial exploitation with extra steps. Some openly admit they go on dates solely for free food. They have a roster. Monday, Mike pays for sushi. Wednesday, William treats her to steaks. Friday, Frank pays for the club. They aren't interested in these people. They are interested in their wallets, and they brag about it on social media, calling it empowerment, though in reality, it's just manipulation. Social media has created absolutely delusional standards. Every second video is a story about how everyone deserves a millionaire. They manifest billionaires, refusing to settle for anything less than a six-figure income. But if you ask what they bring to the negotiation table besides their demands, the answer is ringing silence, or something even more absurd. I am the table. No. You are a person with expectations that vastly exceed your contribution. The illusion of manifestation is particularly toxic. Some women seriously believe they can just think a rich man into existence. They make vision boards with yachts and private jets, practicing an abundance mindset while working part-time at a supermarket. They reject good guys with reliable careers because TikTok promised them their divine masculine millionaire is on the way. Spoiler, he doesn't exist. The refusal of accountability permeates modern dating entirely. If relationships crumble, it's never their fault. If she's single at 40, it's because men are intimidated by strong women. If she has 3 kids by 3 different fathers, she's a heroic single mother. The ability to look in the mirror and say, maybe the problem is me, has gone extinct. One client of mine faced a situation where his ex aired all their dirty laundry on social media for sympathy. She called him a financial tyrant for suggesting a family budget. She accused him of being controlling for asking her to contribute to the bills. When court documents became public, revealing she hadn't worked in 5 years and spent $8,000 a month on shopping, her posts suddenly vanished. But the man's reputation had already suffered. Materialism has become the dominant trait. It's no longer about connection, compatibility, or character. It's about who can provide the lifestyle seen on Instagram. Branded bags are more important than shared values. Expensive dinners matter more than deep conversations. The brand of the car matters more than the person driving it. Some women literally keep spreadsheets ranking men by income. They date several at once, not for emotions, but for financial optimization. It's not polyamory, it's investment portfolio management. And they see nothing wrong with it, justifying it by saying men have done this for centuries. Forgetting just one thing, men didn't expect women to fully fund their lives. The distortion of reality created by dating apps defies description. A woman with average looks gets hundreds of matches and thousands of likes. This creates an artificial inflation of self-worth. Suddenly, she starts thinking she's a celebrity deserving of celebrity treatment. She gets attention from men significantly above her status, who are only looking for short-term fun. However, she interprets this as her actual market value. Some sincerely expect a millionaire lifestyle without understanding what real wealth looks like. They think every successful man has a bottomless barrel of money for shopping. They don't understand that the millionaire next door often drives a reliable Toyota and lives modestly. They need the fantasy version of wealth from social media, not the reality of how capital is created and preserved. Manipulation via the roster and financial exploitation is taught as a strategy. There are courses on how to keep several suitors for different needs, one for rent, another for car payments, a third for entertainment. They call this leveling up. What happened to the idea of simply working, building a career, and creating something yourself? I watched a video where a woman taught others how to emotionally finesse men into paying bills without any romantic involvement. She called it an art form. She had scripts, psychological tricks, specific phrases. Thousands of women in the comments were taking notes. This isn't dating. It's fraud with extra steps. The escalation of conflict in modern gender discussions makes peaceful resolution practically impossible. You only have to try starting a rational, calm conversation about expectations, and literally within a minute, the dialogue turns into an uncontrollable emotional storm. Facts are instantly branded as hate, dry statistics are rejected as bias, and any personal male experience is invalidated. In this space, there is no interest in understanding, only an interest in winning at any cost. We see the practical consequences of these changes everywhere, and they are especially stark at the intersection of the labor market and personal life. Companies actively promote diversity, which is fine in itself, but then the same women complain that there are catastrophically few men around earning more than them. You cannot demand full economic equality and simultaneously insist on a partner who out-earns you by multiples. The math is powerless here. If women start earning more, then by definition, the number of men capable of financially surpassing them shrinks rapidly. Seeing this, men are leaving the active dating sphere at unprecedented speeds. They conduct a cold cost-benefit analysis and increasingly choose video games over potential bankruptcy. They choose peace over eternal conflict, freedom over financial slavery, and honestly, from the outside, they look much happier than those who stayed in the race. The humor and satire born from this situation are sometimes cruel but surgically accurate. Men make videos demonstrating the absurdity of modern demands, where one guy calculated, to meet the wish list of some ladies, you need to be in the top 0.01% of the richest people on the planet, while possessing the free time of an unemployed person. Another clearly showed that just the physical requirements regarding height and looks filter out 99.2% of the male population before the conversation even touches on personality. Men are starting to openly resist imposed rules. They refuse to pay for expensive first dates with strangers, offer to split the bill, and simply walk away from situations with inflated demands. The phrase, "I'm good," has become an unspoken anthem. It is said not with anger, not with bitterness, but simply with a sober realization of the fact. Unfortunately, some women completely misjudge their leverage. They live in the illusion that men will always chase them, will always provide, and will compete for their attention. Then they turn 35, the attention dries up, and suddenly the web is flooded with videos asking, "Where have all the good men gone?" The answer is simple. Good men are dating women who didn't treat them like ATMs with legs. The general state of modern dating culture is broken. Traditional values, loyalty, mutual support, building together, have been replaced by a strategy of extraction, exploitation, and absolutely unrealistic expectations. The social contract between the sexes has been shredded, and it seems no one is in a rush to negotiate a new one. Let me give you specific examples of these insane expectations so you understand the scale of the problem. Recently, a woman published her list of requirements: height over 6'2", minimum salary of $250,000, multiple properties, full payment of all expenses, acceptance of her 2 children from previous relationships, and zero expectation of physical intimacy until she is ready. The kicker? She is 34, unemployed, and lives with her parents. The level of this delusion is simply breathtaking. Another viral post: a girl seriously explains why her boyfriend should pay her $5,000 a month for emotional labor. Not for bills, not for shared expenses, but specifically for being in the relationship. She made a price list, listening to him $500, replying to a text $300, showing support $1,000. She literally turned the role of a girlfriend into a consulting contract. Parallel to this, there is a growing trend of coaches teaching women to extract maximum resources with minimum investment. One course teaches how to get a man to pay for plastic surgery by suggesting it was his idea. Another teaches how to get several engagement rings from different men without technically committing fraud. These are no longer relationship tips. This is training for professional con artists. Lifestyle maintenance expectations are also going beyond the bounds of reason. Some women calculate their monthly beauty costs: hair, nails, beautician, gym, clothes, and expect the man to cover this entirely. One declared she needs $15,000 a month just for self-care. That's $180,000 a year on beauty procedures, more than the annual salary of most people. And she considers this a baseline condition for a first date. Housing expectations are capable of bankrupting anyone. Some expect the guy to pay for her apartment while continuing to maintain his own because a man must provide shelter, so he pays 2 rents, 2 sets of utilities, while she contributes. What exactly? Her presence. This is not a relationship. This is sponsorship. Gift expectations have also lost all connection with reality. Valentine's Day now requires minimum 4-figure sums, birthdays must be events costing thousands, and just because, gifts are expected on random Tuesdays. One woman dumped a guy because his push present for the birth of their child was a necklace worth $2,000. She was expecting a car. Travel demands have become particularly telling. Multiple international vacations a year, all-inclusive, 5 stars, business class. They want the Instagram lifestyle, private yachts, luxury resorts. A regular trip to the beach doesn't cut it anymore. It has to be Bali or Dubai. The car situation is its own comedy. Some refuse to date men who drive the wrong cars. Not old beaters, but reliable, new cars that just aren't luxury brands. I saw a rejection for a second date because the guy arrived in a Honda Accord. A great new car, but not a BMW, so he is not ambitious enough. Restaurant expectations have become astronomical. No dates if dinner costs less than $500. They order the most expensive items, top-shelf alcohol, and then eat half of it. It's not about the food, it's about the price tag and what can be posted on stories. The cruel irony is that many of these ladies demanding millionaires are drowning in debt themselves. They have negative net worth, maxed out credit cards, no savings. They cannot manage their own finances but demand a partner who has mastered his. Timeframes are also unrealistic. Some want immediate commitment from the man but want to continue dating and choosing themselves. They want exclusive access to your resources while keeping their options open. Wife privileges with girlfriend effort or less. Investment like a wife with the energy of a casual hookup. Communication expectations are no less exhausting. Constant texts, instant replies, good morning and good night wishes, hourly check-ins. But at the same time, don't be needy. Be available, but not dependent. Share everything, but keep the mystery. Open up emotionally, but don't be weak. The contradictions are endless. The expectation of performance for social media is a separate nightmare. Every moment must be documented. Every date must be like-worthy. You aren't dating her, you are performing for her audience. If it wasn't posted, it didn't happen. If it isn't impressive enough for her friends to be jealous, why do it? Some expect the man to fully integrate into their life without taking reciprocal steps. Meet her friends, go to her events, support her interests. But his friends are a bad influence, his hobbies are a waste of time, and his family, well, maybe we'll see them on holidays. The very concept of emotional labor has turned into a weapon, where absolutely everything from listening to simply being in the same room is now framed as work. Yet, for some reason, real male labor, providing, protecting, solving problems, building doesn't count, because only her contribution has value. Appearance requirements have also reached the height of hypocrisy. He must be fit, but without toxic gym fanaticism, and look perfectly natural while she spends hours getting ready. Financial transparency works only one way. She wants to know everything about his accounts and business, but questions about her debts hit a wall of "that's personal" and accusations of mistrust. Double standards are staggering. Some want a man to be traditional when it benefits them, and modern when it doesn't, combining the rights of a provider with a complete lack of authority. The pregnancy trap is becoming more common, where partners strategically time things to lock down resources, then feign shock when asked for a paternity test. Moreover, fantasies about divorce before the wedding are terrifying, where women plan the split in advance, knowing the laws are on their side, and marriage can be an excellent retirement plan after 10 years of working on a man. The influence of friends becomes a toxic factor, where the opinion of her single circle has veto power and your friends are perceived as a threat. The double standard of retroactive jealousy drives men crazy. She can have a wild past, but yours must be crystal clear, and communicating with exes is allowed only for her. The expectation of mind reading reaches absurdity. You are obligated to know her needs without words, otherwise you just don't care. The inflation of holidays is equally exhausting, turning life into servicing an eternal wish list from 1-month anniversaries to the day of the first text message. The man turns into a status accessory who must look good in photos and impress colleagues, but whose personal happiness is secondary. Constant tests make life feel like an endless trial, where the verdict is always not good enough, and comparison with fictional characters and filtered couples on Instagram kills self-esteem because reality cannot defeat fantasy. Some expect the man to finance their complete transformation, paying for tuition and spiritual searches, acting as a sponsor, not a partner. Expectations for pets have turned into an absurd financial burden, ranging from designer clothes to demands to pay hundreds of dollars for cat acupuncture. Financing her hobbies is considered the norm, while your interests are often declared a waste of resources. It gets ridiculous. Compensation for opportunity cost, where women literally calculate what they could be doing instead of a date with you, turning romance into billable hours. Plastic surgery expectations are normalized as an investment in the relationship, and family support expands to paying her parents' bills as if you are adopting the financial problems of the entire clan. The exit strategy is often planned from day one. Your assets are studied and settlements calculated while you think you are building a joint future. The constant need for validation drains you, turning you into a staff cheerleader for a person who only criticizes in return. Double standards of loyalty allow her to keep backup options and admirers in her DMs, but if you like another woman's photo, a scandal is guaranteed. Some expect gratitude for the mere fact of their presence, raising the bar of demands to the stratosphere while offering nothing in return. Expectations of future income are a special form of illusion, where they invest in you like a futures contract and then get angry if you don't meet the imaginary success schedule. Creating scenes turns life into a movie where an ordinary day isn't good enough, and the inability to conjure magic on schedule is branded as emotional unavailability. Expecting credit for everything means her cooked dinner is a heroic feat, while your daily efforts are just the baseline. Narrative control allows her to edit the history of the relationship so that you always end up the villain, even if you were the victim. A lack of boundaries for her is combined with rigid restrictions for you, and availability in emergencies is required 24/7, although you are often denied support in return. The demand for constant improvement traps you in an eternal race for approval that will never come because the ideal changes every week. Many seek benefits without status, demanding emotional support and money like a wife, but keeping you in the friend zone, getting the reward without the investment. Initiative must be combined with telepathy. Plan everything yourself, but guess exactly what she secretly wanted. On top of that, you must compensate for her complexes by working as a free therapist who also pays for dinner. The bottom line is simple. Expectations have become so unrealistic and exhausting that men sit down, crunch the numbers, and realize that being alone is cheaper financially, emotionally, and mentally. Men aren't saying relationships are bad. They are saying the current deal is bad. They are afraid of devoting their lives to someone who will take everything and appreciate nothing. I want to hear your opinion. What are the craziest demands you've encountered? At what moment did you realize the game wasn't worth the candle? When did you choose peace over chaos? Write your stories in the comments. Let's have an honest conversation about why so many men are walking away. Because pretending everything is fine while men are leaving the building en masse isn't working for anyone anymore. If you want to understand real psychology, see hidden motives, and be ready for any twists in modern relationships, subscribe to the Psycheria channel. Here we speak the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Join those who choose common sense over sweet lies. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss the next video.